Good morning YouTube, it's Dave here, back out in Dartmoor again for another adventure, and today I'm treating myself and you guys. I'm taking on the highest rated all trails walk in Dartmoor National Park. 4.9 stars out of 5 it's been rated. I've taken a liberty with the title, rounding up. It's the Hunter's Path and Fisherman's Path to Castle Drogo via Fingle Bridge. But before we really get cracking with this video, and that seems a silly thing to say because I've done a lot of climbing already from the car park, which is right down at the bottom of this valley. But before we do get cracking, if you're a fan of the outdoors, hiking, wild camping and budget gear reviews, then you've come to the right place, because that's all I do on my channel. So hit the subscribe button if you want to see more, and without further ado, let's get on with today's walk. We'll be breaking out of these woods soon, and that's when the views down into the valley will really start to open up. Views right down into the Tane Gorge and all the way out to Dartmoor proper up there. Stunning, aren't they? They're only going to get better, I promise you that. So, how do I know so much about this walk? Oh, look at this. I'm not going to get a chance to talk to you because I'm too busy gushing over the views. Look at all that behind me. Absolutely stunning. But yeah, how do I know so much about this walk when I've only just started it and I haven't done it before? Well, I've done a very similar walk before that actually follows this trail, which is the Hunter's Path, up from the car park down at the Fingle Bridge Inn, and follows it all the way up underneath Castle Drogo. And then I looped around and crossed over the River Tane, which is down the bottom of the valley there. This is the Tane Gorge. I crossed over to the other side, and it was a little bit boring actually, the second half of that walk, because that side, the path on that side of the river doesn't follow very closely to the river. And someone, and I'll apologise now because I've forgotten your name, but I'll put it on the screen somewhere at the bottom. Someone suggested in the comments on that walk that if I follow the Fisherman's Path, which is on the near side of the river, so don't cross over after I drop down beneath Castle Drogo, and that it's much more scenic. So I've been planning to come back here and do another walk, and that was about a year ago that I did that one. So this video is a long time coming, but I saw on All Trails that the highest rated walk in Dartmoor National Park was this one, and because it takes in the Fisherman's Path, I thought that's just perfect for me to go back and do it again. It's crying out for it. So here I am, back here, doing it again, slightly different, but we're still going to see Castle Drogo, and we're still going to see Fingle Bridge at the end of the walk, and I'll give you some facts about both of them when we get to each of them. Enjoy. Here's our first tour of the day. Sharp tour, and the views are stunning. Castle Drogo, and that's the flag of Devon flying from its mast. And that's the trail we're going to be following, the Hunter's Path, all the way out to Hunter's Tor there. There's Hunter's Tor, where we're going next. I'm pretty sure that's the town of Chagford back there, with Meldon Hill rising up behind it, and then Natterden Common off to the left. We've done Chagford, Meldon Hill and Natterden Common already in this video here. That was a gorgeous day. Beautiful views off the top of Meldon Hill. I will say it was a bit of a struggle climbing up to it, but that's a hidden gem on Dartmoor because it's not one of the places you hear about, but the views out across Dartmoor, out across Devon, absolutely incredible. Mind you, today's walk's not been too bad so far, has it? This trail, Hunter's Path, winding its way along the top of the valley. It is gorgeous. I mean, look at this, just before I go behind the tree, look at this down here. You can see the Tyne River right at the bottom of the gorge there, just glistening in the sunlight. And you can see the gap in the trees all the way down the foot of the valley that traces the path of the river. But I mean, these views are incredible. It is amazing. And on a hot, dry day like today, you've got that crunchy gravel underneath my feet. Yeah, I do love that sound. Everything seems just a little bit better, doesn't it? It's like the rest of the world, the rest of your life can take a back seat for a moment. You can just enjoy being in the moment, enjoy where you are. Nothing else matters, except making a good YouTube video, of course. We're passing under Castle Drogo now. It's just at the top of this hill, behind those trees. And the castle, I mentioned it earlier, it's the newest castle in the whole of England. Construction was started in 1911 and completed in 1930, which is way later than most of our other castles in this country. I mean, it's still old, it's still nearly 100 years old, but it's nothing compared to most of our castles. And what a place to build it, eh? Looking out over this. Here we are, Hunter's Tor. What a view. All the way back down the Tyne Gorge where we've come from. So we started down the bottom, down at Fingle Bridge, which is where we're going to be finishing the walk. We climbed up the side, on the left-hand side as you're looking at it, and followed the trail, the Hunter's Path, all the way along the top, winding our way around underneath Castle Drogo, which you can see up there. And then we came out here onto Hunter's Tor, and over that way you can see Dartmoor proper. Kestor Rock is the tallest point up there. We've got like Meldon Hill just above Chagford, Natterden Common off to the left of it. I think that really tall point up there, right out on the horizon, I think that might be Hameldown Beacon. I'm not 100% sure on that one because I've not been there yet. I've spent about 10 minutes on Hunter's Tor now, sat down, chilled out for a bit, just enjoying these views, put on a bit of sun cream as well because it is roasting today, and there is a little bit of a breeze which is just keeping the heat down a little bit, just cooling me off. But yeah, I'm just taking in these views. Let me stand up and spin you around so you can see back down into the valley one more time behind me. This is probably the last big views we're going to get on this hike. But don't turn off yet, because there's still plenty more to see. What we're doing now is we're going to follow the last part of the Hunter's Path, which takes us down onto a little road, and then that road drops down into the gorge, down there into the Tyne Gorge, and then we're going to follow the Fisherman's Path alongside the Tyne River, which heads back up, winding its way along the foot of this valley, all the way back to the car at Fingle Bridge. We're kind of looping around and under Castle Drogo now, which is up there on top of the hill, and we're going to drop down to the road that I was saying about and then follow that down to the Fisherman's Path. But it is a glorious day today, although I can see some dark clouds over that way. That's where Dartmoor is, and I think that's mostly where the wind's coming from. It's kind of coming from that way, but that might blow over here, so I've got waterproofs in my bag as always, just in case. It always pays to be prepared on Dartmoor. And we are still on Dartmoor here. We may not be out on the open moorland that you kind of associate with Dartmoor, but this is very much Dartmoor National Park still. The weather can turn quickly, and it feels like it might. I don't know, I've just got that feeling. It might rain any second. But the second half of the walk is more covered anyway, because we're going to be in the trees down by the river. The bridge that I crossed last time and followed the trail down on the opposite side of the river, but this time I followed this trail, the Fisherman's Path. Already following the Fisherman's Path and staying on this side of the river is a much nicer walk than walking on the other side of the river. So thank you again to whoever put that suggestion in the comments of my last Castle Drogo and Fingle Bridge video. I cannot recommend the All Trails app highly enough. It's a free app to download, and you have access to thousands and thousands of walks all across the country, and indeed the world, I think. But certainly all across Britain there's loads of walks, and they have a rating system so people can log on and rate them, so you know whether or not you're doing a well rated walk or a poorly rated walk. This walk of course happens to be the highest rated walk in Dartmoor National Park, so I can't promise all of the walks are going to be as beautiful as this one's been, and it continues to be, because look at this, right down alongside the river now. But yeah, give it a go. They have kind of in-app purchases, which I think lets you like download the maps to use offline, or download the routes to use offline if you become a member. But I'm not a member, I don't pay anything for them, and it's been doing me perfectly fine. And I've been using the All Trails app for a couple of years now. They're not sponsored in this video, by the way. I'm not saying all this because they're paying me to, although they could do if they wanted to. I wouldn't object to it. They're not going to sponsor me because I've got 500 subscribers, but yeah, I'm not being paid to say any of this. I do genuinely think that it's a really good app. If you're struggling for ideas for your next hike, just check it out, see what you can find on there. Those stairs were steep. Steeper when you have to do them twice. Let's go back and get the camera. Oh, now look at this bit. Got Via Ferrata vibes going on up here. And the shed. In this gap in the trees, get a nice view of just how high up we've just climbed from the river. There it is down there. Beautiful. And now we drop back down again. It's a walk of contrast, this one. You've got the hunter's path from the start, which is this huge climb up immediately out of the car park at Fingle Bridge, up onto the top of the valley side here, following the valley along with these stunning vistas out over Dartmoor and back down along the valley, and you're standing on top of Sharp Tor and Hunter's Tor, and you've got these huge drop-offs to either side of you and in front of you, and it's amazing. And it gets your adrenaline pumping, gets your heart beating, and just gets you saying wow constantly. And then you drop down into the gorge, all the wind stops, you find yourself walking alongside the River Tame. It's nice and calm. It's a little bit cooler because you're in the shade as well. And it's like a completely different day, a completely different walk. And it just calms you down, and it's a nice little wander back towards the car and back towards Fingle Bridge. And it's really nice. I think they've nailed it with this walk because, like I say, it's a walk of contrasts. It's a walk of two halves, to borrow a term from football. It's a walk of two halves, nothing that calms you more. And this is scientifically proven, by the way. It does have a calming effect on the human brain. The sound of running water and being alongside running water for as little as 10 minutes can help improve your mood if you're struggling mentally. Doing this walk could improve anyone's mood, I think. We're approaching Fingle Bridge now, and I promised you some facts about it. So are you ready? Because here they come. Fingle Bridge is a stone arch pack horse bridge that was completed in the 17th century. That's the 1600s, if you weren't aware. So it's pretty old. It has triangular breakwaters to alleviate the force of the water hitting the supporting pillars of the stone arch bridge. The bridge sits in the base of the deep Tane Gorge between the ancient hill forts of Prestonbury Castle at 430 feet above the river to the north and Cranbrook Castle at 750 feet above to the south. The bridge is built on the historic crossing point between the two. Well, that'll just about do it for today's walk. This is Dave signing off from a very busy Fingle Bridge car park. It's a popular destination, so do get here early if you're planning on doing this walk, because there is absolutely nowhere to park today. Yeah, thank you very much for watching. Do like the video if you've enjoyed it, drop a comment down below and subscribe if you want to see more, and I'll see you again soon for another adventure. Cheers.